What is going on? Welcome back to College Football Kickoff. We're in week 12. Things are getting down to nitty gritty. We got teams competing for conference championships, and teams are just praying for the recruiting trips to pick up so they can get some new talent in there. But we got some good games. Not a lot, but the ones that we do have are pretty damn good. Last week, we're gonna go over last week's games. We're gonna go over these college football power rankings, and we'll go to our pick'ems like usual. As always, we got Raphael from my bookie here. Can't appreciate you enough for hopping on, man. And then Devontae Keith from Florida Score Sports hopping on as well, back-to-back weeks. So we appreciate you guys so much. Let's just dive right into these power rankings, or these college football rankings. Georgia, Bama, Oregon, Ohio State, Cincy. I don't think there was as much criticism this week as it was the first week, them coming out. But, a lot of people were talking about, hey, maybe Ohio State deserves to be ranked ahead of Oregon. Maybe, Cincinnati deserves to be in that top four, but we've talked about it before. These Cincinnati's kind of sleepwalking through their conference here. Do they truly deserve to be in that top four?
I'd say no, just because as most people know, the AP polls are usually sort of part of capitalism, I guess, like which teams are going to bring tickets, which teams are going to bring sales, that sort of thing. And granted, Ohio teams love their sports, but if you have Ohio State already in the top four, it's almost like overkill to the general public to have Cincinnati. So just for that reason. Also, I think, was it USF that they kind of struggled against? That game kind of scared me. I'm not going to lie. So, yeah. Hopefully that wasn't a signal of the decline of Cincinnati, because most people have been rooting for them as the underdog. But if that's how they're going to be against lower competition, I don't know how they're going to act against higher competition.
Exactly. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you know that they're kind of America's team right now. Raphael, any thoughts?
Well, they're not probably going to like me for saying this. I think that they win today. They beat SMU, but they don't cover. But I think the ECU Pirates beat them next week, and I think they still lose to Houston in the conference championship. So who cares about boo-hoo-hoo, where how can we're not in the top four? They're going to have 2 losses when all said and done. So I'm sorry, Bearcats, but I think the Pirates nick you next week on Black Friday, and they lose to Houston in the championship game. So Cincinnati would be lucky if they even get into a New Year's game.
Raphael, we haven't got this thing in 3 minutes, and you're already just like serving out the heat with hot takes already. ECU over Cincinnati? That's a ballsy statement.
That's what it is. Right?
Yeah, they beat Memphis, but it's Memphis.
Yeah.
Wow. Raphael, all right. I don't usually disagree with you, but I'll bite my tongue. We'll see. We'll wait for it. Now, does Ohio State need to jump Oregon, or should Oregon keep ahead since it has the head-to-head matchup?
I say yes. They have the best win all season long. They have the best win. They won at the shoe. It doesn't matter. Tell me another school besides maybe Cincinnati beating Notre Dame, which Notre Dame really hasn't been irrelevant in a very long time because they haven't won anything in a very long time. The only thing they've won is that nice NBC contract that they get year after year. That's the only thing that they're winning. I'm sorry. Oregon's got the best road win of the season. Now they might fall down today to Utah, but they get Utah probably in the Pac-12 championship game. So they might get some redemption. But if they win today and they win in the Pac-Conference championship, I'm sorry, they may deserve the second spot if they can win these 2 next games against Utah.
Yeah,
but how do my concern is how Pac-12 teams usually fare. Well, at least as of late, how Pac-12 teams fare against other conferences, especially the SEC. Granted, they give good games, but at the same time, I don't know if they can hang with the big dogs of the South with an F. So I don't know. It's kind of it'll probably make for a good game, especially seeing as how most of the playing field as far as football has been level, collegiately and pro. I'm liking seeing Georgia at the top, but again, like being a Falcons fan, I don't know how long that's going to last. Like they can make it to the final game and fold. And then
Well, first of all, you can only say one team in the South, and that's Alabama. Georgia, ooh, they're here this year, but so far the SEC's only been Alabama, and everyone else could be playing in the Sun Belt.
Hey, you got all right. You got LSU from years past, one hit wonder probably, but you had them there. 10-year scope here. I think the SEC has every conference's number there, top to bottom, minus Vandy.
You can throw in Mizzou in there. You can throw in South Carolina in there.
Yeah.
I'm
All
sorry.
Right,
the SEC is not the creme of the creme. It's just one team. South Alabama. Then you can throw in Georgia this year, maybe a couple years Auburn when Cam was there. But I'm sorry, SEC's just been one team and one team only, and no one else. I'm sorry, Mizzou fans and Vandy fans, and even Tennessee fans and South Carolina fans. I'm sorry, Alabama has been the creme of the creme, and maybe Georgia's coming behind them.
All right, touche.
I kind of forgot about Vandy being the SEC, but that makes a good point. And then you got to think about Texas trying to make. For some odd reason, Texas trying to come into the SEC, I guess for money. They're struggling to pay bills or something. But we'll see how that looks in the near future.
I tell you what, after last week, it did not look good. Taking an L to Kansas. Kansas only won one game this season. And Jayhawks, they rocked them. They chalked them up, baby, through a table. Horns down. I mean, Kansas, shocking the world. Yes, it's a 1-point win. Yes, it's Texas. That's really hasn't been relevant. Like you said, Rafael, like Notre Dame has not been very relevant for a long time, but still Kansas, they're not supposed to beat Texas.
No. I mean, and that's why the big deal of OU and Texas going to SEC. Hey, Oklahoma might be losing their head coach Lincoln Riley to Baton Rouge and might be taking one of his quarterbacks. They're offering him 9 to 10-year deal with a big boatload of money. So look out for that.
Yeah, for real. That LSU job, it's crazy how many names have popped up for it, and I'm going to be really curious to see what the prop is of who's the top tier guy trying to get it, and then who actually really does get it. Because Lincoln Riley, he says he doesn't want to go, but everybody's going to say that it's during the season. Let's see what he says a month from now. Baylor defeats Oklahoma, who we just talked about. I don't think any of us were surprised. I think we all said Baylor's a dangerous team. Oklahoma is not as good as people have been hyping them up on. And sick them, they got after them.
Yeah, that was a pretty. I watched the entire game. That was a pretty good game. I like the little switcheroo they did between Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler. And I almost felt bad because when Spencer Rattler came out, he was still Spencer Rattler, and he couldn't change the course of the game. Baylor just kept coming at him with their dogs or bears, whichever one they want to be. Jerry Bohannon, not Jerry McNamara from Syracuse. Jerry Bohannon went off. I think he got 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. But that, honestly, I've always thought Oklahoma was kind of suspect. Like as I said last time, they have an explosive offense, but defensively, they can't hold anybody. I mean, they usually have 1 or 2 difference makers, but besides that, all their firepower is on offense. So they couldn't outscore. They couldn't outscore Baylor. And we saw the real them.
Yeah, Baylor's the nice flavor of the week, but they go down today to Kansas State. So, yay, Baylor, you won last week. It's a brand new week.
The Big 12 is just a hot mess right now. I feel like any week, every week, someone's going down, and it's not a big surprise. It's crazy. And the other one, Mississippi State defeats Auburn. I don't think any of us are really surprised. Mississippi State, a good team. Auburn trying to find their identity. Sure, maybe put some money on Auburn, but not to cover, not anything special. And Mississippi State did what they're supposed to do, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty good defensive Mississippi State team. State played them, of course, and those guys held their own as far as offensively in the pass game and in the rushing game. They had a couple difference makers, and then with Auburn, them being basically a dice roll, pretty much. Bo Nix in general being a dice roll pretty much every game. I mean, whether or not he was going to start, whether or not he was going to sit, we didn't know. So I think with that sort of inconsistency, it kind of shows throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Any other last week matchups we want to talk about? Anything at all? I know your boys State came down to a wire against Wake, and it was one hell of a game.
What's crazy? So that whole week, that whole Saturday, Sunday was an L for me. State lost 42-45 to Wake Forest, and then like I checked my phone, and I'm like, dang, like I'm just a loser for being associated with different schools. Coastal lost 42-45. There was something about those 40s. The 40s the other game. I got kind of mad because the State game kind of fell upon a missed field goal, as they usually do, and then that sort of took them out of contention of being the number one in the ACC. So I don't know what I want to happen. Like, do I want Clemson to lose? Do I want Wake Forest? I want Wake Forest to lose, but do I really want Clemson to win? I don't know if it'll make any difference, but we shall see.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's dive into some key matchup today. Once again, it was kind of slim pickings a little bit. Yes, we got the premier matchup, Michigan State traveling to the Horseshoe, but Ohio State's still a 19-point favorite, right? You got Wake traveling to Clemson. You never know what Clemson team you're going to get this season, but it is Death Valley, and they're pretty damn good. SMU, Cincinnati, do they sleepwalk? Do they get beat? Oregon at Utah, that's a game who I'm really locked into. That's a West Coast. Raphael, I know you liking me loving that one. And then Louisiana Liberty had to do a little Power 5 in there for them. That should be a good game as well. But any of those really games that we're looking at, anything we've seen the money move, Raphael, anything, everything at all?
Well, Ohio State money continues to come in. There's a couple of 20s that's popped out there. And all I want to say is I want Tucker's agent, because how did he get a pay raise before he plays this Ohio State game? Does he have to give some of that money back after the butt whipping he might receive today? I have a wrong agent for that one, but I think Ohio State pulls away in the second half. I just don't think if it's offense for offense, which I think the Buckeyes will make it a high-scoring game. I just don't even think Michigan State will be able to compete on the offensive side of the game. If you like Michigan State, then maybe look at the under that's at 69.5 or 70. But I think Ohio State puts a beat down on it. And another one that you mentioned, I think everyone's thinking Arkansas can hang around with Alabama today. Last time I checked, Alabama probably looked at the schedule and saw Georgia beat them 37-0 when the Hogs played them. You don't think Alabama does not know that? I think Arkansas scores, but here's another beatdown. I think Alabama puts a beatdown on the Hogs today.
Yeah. They I saw last week. I saw Alabama played New Mexico State. That was kind of weird to just throw that in at the end of the season.
That's the SEC. It's not weird. That's why they're all powerful. That's not weird.
It's just I saw it. I was scrolling through the games. I saw New Mexico State. I thought they usually be playing somebody, but I guess they're trying to protect what little of a record they have. But just like Hackey, I was pretty interested in the Utah and Oregon matchup, just because I don't think Utah has been talked about a lot. They're I would like to say they're a pretty consistent team in the Pac-12. As far as defensively, they're definitely consistent. Now, as far as Oregon, I'm not exactly sure if they can manage the Utah team defensively, but I think last time I looked, might have been the underdog. I'm not sure, but I think they're going to Utah, right?
Yes.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that this is the game they fold because they can't hold that top 4 spot.
It definitely could be, but Utah's breaking out. I don't know if you guys saw the Salt Lake uniforms, the gray little battleship. Those are nice. I like those. Raphael, I know you're not a big uniform guy, but when you say they're badass.
Yeah, those are pretty cool. I like the story on why they're wearing them. It was a pretty cool story. But I agree. I think Utah wins tonight. Now, do they cover? This number will probably be 4 when kickoff. It was 3. Now it's 3.5. So make sure you get the best number if you look at the Utes. But then I think the Ducks get redemption on Pac-12 Conference Championship.
Okay, I like it. Well, hey, we're already kind of diving into pick'ems. So let's just do the damn thing. Let's start with the marquee matchup. Michigan State traveling to the Horseshoe. Number 7 versus number 4. A lot of people think if Michigan State beats Ohio State here, they just kind of flip-flop in the playoff rankings. That Michigan State will hop to 4, Ohio State will jump back to 7 or 8 there. this could be a lot of things. That's a long wish for Michigan State fans. You never know what's going to happen. What do you guys say?
I honestly, just because of how I know the poll gets kind of weird, I don't think if Ohio State did lose this game, I can't see them falling out of the top 10, and they probably won't even fall out of the top 5. This will definitely be a pretty good matchup. But again, it's the shoe. Any Ohio State fan that has been to the shoe, they are like violently aggressive. So that hostile, like with a capital H crowd against the Michigan State team, I don't know. It'll make for a good game, but I don't think Michigan State is quieting down the shoe, at least this go around.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. The favorite has covered the last 4 times in this one, which has been Ohio State all 4 times. So I think that trend continues. I think Buckeyes cover.
Yeah. I think they keep it rolling. They're 5 in a row. Make it 6. I think they get it done. Moving on. Let's go a little west here. Iowa State, Oklahoma. Oklahoma, do they lose back-to-back? Does Iowa State lose back-to-back? I mean, they lost off a 66-yard field goal to Texas Tech. That was insane for the brand. Amazing. What do we say here?
Yeah, this is kind of weird too, just because I don't know what to expect from Oklahoma. Like Lincoln Riley got mad because Baylor called the timeout to kick the field goal, and he was like, "There's sportsmanship." Even as a coach, like, sportsmanship is overrated. Like, if you didn't want them to kick it, you should have made them regret it. Like, call up a field goal block play or just jump the line. Like, instead of just sitting there waiting for him to kick it, just break through the line and just push somebody. Like, be violent or something. So because of that, because he was belly aching and stuff, I think Iowa State puts one on them again. They need to figure out what's going on with Caleb Williams. Maybe he comes back in this game, but Baylor exposed him, and I feel like Iowa State can use that same film to figure out what things worked against Caleb Williams. It seemed like as long as they kept him contained, as long as they exposed that their receivers have a lot of speed. I don't know about route running, but as long as they can contain that speed around the edge, and as far as the DBs, I think Iowa State will go. I think this will be a pretty good game for Iowa State. I think they have it this game.
I'm on the opposite in this one. Iowa State has dropped 3 of their last 4 road games. The only road win they have was against Kansas State, which they had massive injuries on both sides of the ball for the Wildcats. If this was in Iowa State, this is a totally different game. I think they easily win. The spread would probably be around 4 or 5. But Oklahoma coming off a bad loss to Baylor, all the rumors with Lincoln Riley. Is he going? Is he staying? Quarterbacks? Is someone's going to the portal? Is someone not? I think they win this game. I think they win by a touchdown.
Yeah, if Lincoln Riley's name wasn't in there, the transfer portal stuff wasn't going on. You don't have that turmoil in that locker room, that coach's office. I'm hammering down on Oklahoma, but Iowa State lost off a 1 in a million kick, 66 yards. Charlie Kohler, the tight end for Iowa State, he's going to have one hell of a day here. Give me Iowa State on the road. Oklahoma surface back-to-back losses. Baylor, Kansas State. Kansas State, 1-point favorite. They're unranked. Number 11, Baylor's coming in there. Raphael's not surprised at all here. Over-under set at 50. What do we say?
You know me, purple people eaters, Wildcats, baby. They upset Baylor because they're still drinking their Kool-Aid that they had last week with their big win. They go down. I like Kansas State. They're going to be able to run the ball against Baylor's defense.
I love it. Can you get a little Wildcat sound in there?
Yeah. I actually, even though I was pretty high on Baylor last week just because it was Oklahoma, Deuce Vaughn, I was watching Deuce Vaughn last year. That little joker can ball out. Mm-hmm. They got him. I think they recruited him based off the spirit of Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles opened the door a lot for the shorter fellas. Yeah. But this man can ball out. Their quarterback is he's pretty good. Now, Kansas State as a whole, their record has been, to me, kind of inconsistent just from dominating some games and kind of staying in the middle of the road for some. But I think they can sneak by Baylor just because they're probably kind of amped for beating Oklahoma. But Kansas State is also amped from their win last week. Who did they beat last
West
week?
Virginia.
Yeah, they beat West Virginia. Ooh. So I think they're rolling over the Bears.
Yeah, Kansas State's kind of one of those sneaky teams. Like you haven't been hearing much about them, but they've just been consistently winning games, getting better each and every week. Yeah, give me the Wildcats. I'm with you. Let's bring the brooms out. We're sweeping Kansas State. Cowboys, Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, 10-point favorite. Texas Tech, not an easy place to play. What do we say?
Texas Tech has problems. They don't have a head coach. They're probably going to have a brand new coaching staff coming in. A lot of kids are probably going to leave. I think Oklahoma State, this is their game. I think they win by 2 touchdowns easily. Texas Tech, they're just planning their summer vacations and can't wait to go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. They could care less about this game.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma State kind of. You put the Beavers. Oklahoma State rolls over this one. I mean, I don't know too much about either one of them, but I forgot which game. But I think Oklahoma State got a game taken from them, and I feel like they've been kind of bitter since then. And I definitely don't know much about Texas Tech this year as far as them not having a coach or whatever. So I think they win this one pretty easy.
Since their loss against Iowa State, they've only given up, I think, 23 points in 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like they're on a rampage.
I think Texas Tech they had their national championship game last weekend. Rushed the field. You beat Iowa State on a miracle kick. Life's good. Your interim coach gets a win under his belt. Maybe it saves his job for next season. Maybe, probably not. Who knows? Raphael, I'm with you. They're ready about that Thanksgiving dinner. They're ready about Christmas. Give me Oklahoma State Cowboys every week. Either Tuesday or Saturday, I mess up on a graphic. Sorry, Oklahoma State fans. Called you the Beavers. Didn't mean to. I was thinking Oregon State. My bad.
You can never be wrong calling a team a Beaver.
All right. Fair enough. I'll take it. Arkansas, Bama 21 versus number 2. Bama, heavy favorites here.
You can't make a bigger number for this one. I just think Alabama remembers what their the big brother of the SEC this year, Georgia, did to them last month, 37-0. I'm not saying they're going to blanket Arkansas, but it's going to be a very, very lopsided game.
Yeah, Alabama takes this one, but I think Arkansas sticks with Alabama a little bit better than Tennessee did. And Tennessee, I mean, they did a pretty good job for the first few quarters, but of course, I mean, it's Bama. Where are they playing in Alabama?
Yes.
Yeah. So home team favorite being in Alabama, being another SEC school. But I think Arkansas does a pretty good job, but I think ultimately Bama takes the win.
Yeah, I like it. Rafa, I didn't even think about Bama circling Georgia's score there and be like, hey, we got to beat this. They're playing for a lot. They're playing for that playoff ranking and to keep that number 2 spot. Yeah, give me Bama and hell, they might cover that spread. That's a huge ass spread, but they might find a way to cover it just to stick it to Georgia.
Bama 13-3 against the spread as a home favorite.
Yeah, dangerous. All right, Clemson, wake the nation. Jay Gray, she was on Tuesday. She said, this is her sip of death. She hates picking her team, but she's picking Clemson against Wake. Yes, Clemson is a bookie's favorite there, but they're not supposed to win right on paper. You got 10 versus unranked here. She thinks her Tigers are getting it done. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I really don't want either team to win, but it doesn't happen that way in college. But I'm expecting Clemson to come through on this game. I feel like ever since State beat them, they've been kind of like out of sorts. DJ Ugly, I don't know how to say his last name, but
you got it correctly.
He's been figuring out, the game, the past few games, been doing pretty well. I feel like since State was able to hang with Wake Forest as far as defensively, and now that Clemson has everybody back fairly healthy, I think they'll be able to put one over on Wake Forest, kind of knock them down a few pegs.
Well, I wish our girl was on the show because I ripped her last time she was here, making fun of her Clemson Tigers. So I can apologize to her again because I like Clemson this game. Wake Forest, the only team in college football, Division I and II, to score more than 35 points every game this year. Not today. I'm sorry. Clemson's going to win this game on defense and defense alone. I like Clemson this one. I think they wake up Wake Forest, and I don't think that offense will be able to put up 35 plus points on them. I like Clemson.
Yeah, this is in Death Valley. This is in Clemson. This is going to be a tough game. I was about to say Wake Forest offense has been magnificent. Clemson's defense has been carrying the load for the most part for them. Then we flip it. Wake Forest defense, non-existent. Clemson's offense starting to wake up here. I think that's the difference maker here. Give me the Tigers getting the job done against Wake. Let's go into the Sleepwalkers. Cincinnati, SMU. Cincinnati, favorite, but not as much as we would think. Number 5 going against unranked SMU there. A lot of people thought this could be the game that if Cincinnati and SMU are undefeated, this one pushes them in the top 4, and that just was not the case. SMU stumbled. Bearcats need a heavy win here, I think, to jump into the top 4. What do you say?
We know what I say. I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say this has the makings of, when Coastal Carolina was having that role and beating everybody, even though they didn't play anybody. Mm-hmm. I think SMU might be their App State. I think this is the team that puts one over on Cincinnati since they, as I said before, that game with USF kind of had them shook, but they finally, figured it out. And even though they've been rolling past their opponents, around the end of the season is when they start getting kind of comfortable. And I think SMU won their last game. Did they win their last game or was it the time before?
Yeah, they won their last one.
Yeah, they beat Central Florida.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think they'll roll probably by. You know what? I'll give them a touchdown pass, Cincinnati.
Ooh.
I think Cincinnati wins. You know that. I think they don't cover, but it's all about next week. Give me the Pirates next week, and then Houston beats them. And then everyone's crying now that how come they're in the Final Four? And then 2 weeks from now, they're going to be wishing they were just in the top 20.
Man, that is a hot take, Raphael. Man, I can't wait for next week's episode. I'm ready for this one. Give me Cincinnati. I think this is a game that they've been talking about since summer. Hey, we've got to beat SMU. We've got to run the table, beat SMU, and then we get in. Not realizing SMU would stumble to Memphis and I think Houston was the other loss they had. This is in Cincinnati. This place is going to be rocking. Give me the Bearcats. Let's travel over the Battle of Los Angeles. Both these teams, start of the season on the hype train. UCLA beats LSU. USC is always hyped up about. They've stumbled. They're not the same teams that we thought they would be. UCLA is a favorite here. Over under set 65.5. What do you guys take?
How bad has this series gone? And it's a 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time when normally this game is either the headline of the ABC game or an evening battle on ESPN. I think this game is on TBS following Big Bang Theory. That's how bad these two teams have fallen down. I think USC does a backdoor cover, but it's all dependent on if Ingram plays tonight as their running back. If he plays, then I think they'll be able to hang around, get the backdoor cover. If he doesn't, then I think UCLA wins.
Yeah, I'm a strong supporter of UCLA. They've been looking pretty good in the past few games. USC, they're starting their new quarterback 2, Jackson Dart, another guy with a weird name. Yeah, I don't think they put one past UCLA. UCLA holds strong for this one against this little years-long, decades probably, rivalry. I think the Bruins put one past the Trojans this year.
Yeah. I think UCLA, Chip Kelly. I mean, come on. Chip, rock the visor, turn it upside down, backwards to the side, wherever you want. I think UCLA gets this thing done. Fight on, dead this season. All right. The matchup I think we're all juiced up about here. Oregon, Utah. This is going to be good. Utah, 3-point favorite. I don't know if the numbers have switched since I made this graphic. It could have. What do we say?
Yeah, Utah's 3.5 now. I think Utah wins this game, but keep an eye out for the dog. But I think we can see a lot of points scored in this one. Utah, I think their last 10 games, 8 of them have gone over the total. They love to run the ball quickly, and then the second half opens up the field. They scored 38 points against Arizona, 52 against Stanford, which Stanford beats the Ducks. I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this one. A little bit shocked that the total came down a little bit. So I would not be shocked if this one ends up right in the 60 range. The over is a good play. I'm going to wait to see. If I can get the Ducks at +4, that might be something I might have to look at.
Yeah, I'll take Utah over this one. There's been a couple of games where I thought Oregon shouldn't have won, but I mean they did. They didn't get that number 3 spot for no reason. So I think Utah kind of brings them back down to earth. If Cincinnati ends up winning, I think Oregon ends up being the one to lose their game.
Yeah, a lot of speculation that one of these top 4 teams is going down today. And Georgia's playing Sisters of the Poor, so we don't think it's going to be them. Utah, that place is amazing to play at. They've got the numbers of their fallen brothers, the former teammates on the field. That place is just rocking, and it's got special energy this year. But I think Oregon's fighting for a lot. Break out the Jays. Give me the Oregon retros on it, baby. I'm going to Oregon Ducks, getting the job done.
Hong Kong.
Final game, Hong Kong. For the Power 5, Louisiana, Liberty. Liberty is a favorite here in the Louisiana's barking. Hey, rank us. Put us in the top 25. We only have 1 L on the schedule. Put us in there. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I don't know. Usually, I remember Louisiana being pretty good, but I think Coastal ended up beating them. So I think Malik Willis puts another one up over them. Kind of shows he's trying to get back in that top 25 spot. He's trying to prove all the haters wrong, trying to prove why he's a top quarterback prospect. I mean, this is a pretty now that I look at it, besides the Heisman favorites preseason, like it's been a pretty competitive quarterback prospect year. So I think he finally proves it with this game against Louisiana, putting up a couple of dots and yards on them.
Hey, I just think what Liberty did to hold Ole Miss to only 27 points when they played, I think that should have counted for 2 points or 2 wins, not 1 win. And I just like that loss that the Raging Cajuns had in Texas at the beginning of the season. Boys, that loss looked really, really bad now. So I think Liberty comes out. If they can play defense like they did against Ole Miss, I think they scrape out a very, very close victory. But it would not be shocked if the Raging Cajuns come out. That they've been really good on the road. They beat Troy by double digits on the road. They beat USA on the road. So this could be a close one, but I don't think Liberty gets past them.
Yeah, this game I'm really looking forward to watch. Probably do a split screen going on. Have a couple laptops put up. Whatever I got to do to watch 3 or 4 games, because this game is kind of a hot spot. Give me the Crow. Give me the Raging Cajuns. I'm going with them. I think they've got to get done for the Fun Belt. They've got to. Just me being a biased App fan. Hey, that's going to do it for the Pick'ems. Guys, once again, I can't thank you guys enough for hopping on and joining us there. Any type of shout outs. I know my bookie, you guys just had a pretty much free money almost giveaway there. Mac Jones, 2 touchdowns, and unfortunately only scored 1 touchdown, but that seemed like a lock to me. I think most of the world. But anything cool going on you guys got?
We have a lot of. Today's a big day. Not only do you have college football, a full slate of college basketball, you have UFC fight night. Was it 43 with Misha Tate as the main event? You have a great boxing match tonight on ESPN pay-per-view with Bud Crawford and Sean Porter. I can't wait to watch that one. So there's a full range of sports all day long. So just sit back, ignore the loved ones, and watch sports all day.
And you guys are going to have a big Black Friday thing going on, right?
Yes.
That's going to be awesome. And then Florida Score Sports, anything you guys get going on?
Yeah, so these next 1 or 2 weeks, the youth have, the boys have finals this week, so we're getting our education on this week, taking a break. Also with Thanksgiving coming up. But We still have our pick'ems rolling on. So now, if you're listening to it right now, it's kind of late, but there's always next week. So shout out them, shout out the game, follow our socials and all that stuff. And also shout out the pack. Get it done this week because I know you boys are pissed because I definitely am. So shout out the pack forever and always.
Hey, boys, I can't thank you guys enough for hopping on. Hopefully next time we get you guys back on and we talk some more. And Raphael, I'm bringing the boxing gloves out. ECU Cincinnati. I'm here for this take. All right, guys. Y'all take care. Listeners, go subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And hey, hopefully